Welcome to the Conscious Michiana Hivecast, where we explore practices, perspectives, and people who are helping our community live with more intention, vitality, and connection. Today, we are honoring the energy of the Chinese New Year and the dynamic themes of the year of the fire horse, a year of stabilizing passion, courage, creativity, and the bold pursuit of our dreams. Joining me today, I have Dr. Natalie Kilheeney, a doctor of acupuncture and herbal medicine, who is guiding our community through this powerful seasonal transition with her upcoming workshop, Awaken Your Spark Within, a Chinese New Year celebration with Qigong for the year of the fire horse. In traditional Chinese medicine, the new year isn't just a date on the calendar, it's an energetic reset, a time to align with nature, cultivate balance, and awaken the vitality that already lives within us. At Conscious Michiana, we believe in creating spaces where ancient wisdom meets modern life, where community supports healing, and where each of us is empowered to reconnect with our inner spark. Today's conversation is an invitation to do just that. Thank you for joining me, Dr. Natalie.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show today, Jamila.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I love the work that you do here in the community. You've been doing it for quite a while. And just for the audience, you are the owner of Beyond Zen Yoga Studio up in Granger. However, before we go into that, I wanted to ask you, for those who may not be familiar, can you share a little bit about your background in traditional Chinese medicine and what first drew you to that path?
Sure, absolutely. So I was drawn to traditional Chinese medicine by having my own experience. I was blown away at how it actually helped me heal things like anxiety naturally without the use of more drugs. Because it just made me feel like I was a zombie and, not really myself. And what I had learned about the body was that it was meant to heal and, it's meant to do what it's supposed to do when it gets the right things. And so I sort of just geeked out on this medicine and I just completely ignited my passion and I just dove in head first. And I went to school and I got to study with 38 generations of Chinese doctors and learning the Ni family ways in both in shamanism and in like 5 elements, and just dived in head first with this medicine. And it's just an honor to be able to share that with my community where I grew up here in Michiana.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful to have you here in our community as well. And for those of you who don't know, Dr. Natalie had done a prior podcast with us November 5th of 2021. So if you scroll back through on the website into previous podcasts, she gives a full story, and it's a really fascinating story. So I highly encourage folks to be able to go and re-listen to that because Dr. Natalie you're a powerhouse in the community and you've done so much and your studies are so deep. And I just love the podcast because you really go into the story like in a much deeper way and how you got to Beyond Zen and what you're doing there and those sorts of things. So I encourage everybody to go and listen to that if you have not before.
I think that not a lot of people recognize how much work it is to be a licensed acupuncturist and a doctor of acupuncture. Continuing on my studies is another 2 years on top of the 4 years that I went to school and my bachelor's. So that's 10 years of school, a year-long residency in a hospital, and just 18 years of experience doing, helping the community with this medicine. So just wanted to touch on that as well.
Yes, you have definitely done the work and you know what you are doing for sure. And I love the background that you have. And, having done work with you, it's just so helpful. It's just I love being able to have acupuncture with you, and the other modalities that you've done with me as well have just been phenomenal. So I just encourage everyone to go and visit Dr. Natalie at Beyond Zen, because she has so many different things that she brings. When she does the pulse point check and like the tongue look and like the whole, five elements Chinese medicine thing, it's fascinating and just works so well. So you are a dynamo for sure in what you bring and how you offer and all of the things.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. You're welcome. So, Chinese New Year is such a rich and meaningful time. From a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, what does this year represent energetically and spiritually?
Wow, that's a loaded question. We are living in very special times, and the year of the fire horse specifically hasn't come around for 60 years. So think about, the 1960s. We were in, Vietnam, and, turbulent times of change were happening in the world. And that's kind of what's happening today, is this cosmic shift in consciousness, if you will. It's sort of a grand awakening, a shift in consciousness. And it's interesting because the Chinese New Year falls on a solar eclipse, but it's about making conscious choices. And it's not so much about doing more and putting more into things, but are you in alignment with your truth? This year is a fire year on top of a fire year. So a whole lot of heat and fire coming at you at once, which can be quite intense. And so it's really important to seek that balance within, to go within, because what's happening is the energy is channeling from above as well as below. So we're both the fire and the fire keeper at the same time. And so if we look at that idea of making a conscious choice, we're going to choose, what energy do we want to become? We're going to start asking ourselves questions like, are we in alignment? Is this right for me? Because fire starts to purge. It's a purification, a transformation, if you will, versus getting completely burnt out. Fire destroys things, but it can also illuminate and bring beauty into the world. So it's, again, going back to the conscious choice of, what do you choose? Which wolf do you want to feed? And seeking balance within.
Thank you. I appreciate that very vivid description of this. Now, with this being the year of the fire horse, what does the fire horse symbolize, and how is that different from the other zodiac years?
Yeah. So we're moving transition wise from the wood snake, which the snake is about letting go and shedding skins, but more in like a wise way, a slower kind of, you know, putting a lot of thought into it and taking our time, where the fire horse is just like taking action. Like we're just jumping off the cliff. We're just going for it. We are moving with passion, with purpose, with intention. Intention becomes important. It's about movement, but again, being in alignment, not just doing whatever. It's also about seeking joy in things and coming from the heart. Being heart led is what the horse is about, and really just taking progress and being fierce, and having the courage to do that. I like the quote from Nelson Mandela, who says, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. So it's having the courage to put yourself out there, to travel, to do that thing you have been holding back about. And yeah, so that's the fire horse in its nature.
Hmm. Thank you. You were actually able to answer a couple of my additional questions that I had around that. You got it all taken care of in one shot. That's perfect. Love that. Fire, as you'd said, can be very transformative and also very intense. How can we work with this fire energy in a balanced and healthy way rather than be getting overwhelmed and burnt out?
Yeah. So this energetic presentation, again, is fire and fire. So the water element is very minuscule. So doing things that help to ground oneself, whether to the earth as well, because if you think about it, fire generates earth. So we want to connect to the earth, regulate our nervous systems, drink more water, being more mindful of that, going within, having reflective thoughts, not just moving erratically, but having more balance in our day to day life, loving ourselves more, and doing the things that really care for ourselves. You'll start to notice if you are out of balance. So becoming consciously aware and making that choice. And if you are out of balance, you might see some symptoms pop up that you can immediately take action. And so if you're having sleep issues, for example, or heightened anxiety, restlessness, sometimes you'll have more inflammation in your body, or you might start to have more reactivity, like anger outbursts, or you're just more emotional because of all the fire and heat in your body. You're going to pay attention and know, like, hey, I'm out of balance, and I'm going to go within. I'm going to do some deep breaths. I'm going to practice mindfulness. I'm going to do my ecstatic dance, drumming, whatever it is for you that brings you to that place, that centered place within.
Mm-hmm. And the key right there is just being able to recognize I am out of balance and then begin to use the tools of choice, because you had mentioned a lot of tools, and those are everyday tools that we all can use all the time, regardless of what the zodiac year is, right? So being able to find the tools, use them to be able to recognize I'm out of balance. And I think, like you had mentioned before, that grounding energy of the earth, the water, are really key, with this year, with it being that double fire. So I wanted to ask, are there any particular organs or meridians or emotional patterns from the traditional Chinese medicine perspective that are especially connected to fire energy?
Yeah. So the element of fire is connected to the heart and other organ systems like small intestine and things that regulate like metabolism in the body, are all associated with the element of fire. And so the heart, we say in Chinese medicine, is housed by the Shen. And Shen is, our spirit. And so it becomes important to nurture that fire energy that's channeling in from both above and below into our heart center, and just making sure it resonates. Is this for me? Is this in alignment? Is this something I'm doing for others, or people pleasing, or is it taking away from me, or is it giving to me?
Hmm.
So just being mindful of the heart, and getting to know yourself more on a deeper level in that way.
Hmm. I love that. I'm so excited for us to have this year. Oof. Especially after last year of the shutting, because both of these years, in an astrological point of view, have all been about transformation. 2025 and 2026, all about transformation. And I love just these themes of how they come through with the Chinese medicine of the shedding with the wood snake last year. And this year, the transformation of the fire horse. Is just really, I just love how these paths just kind of overlap in the ways that they do. Just is very exciting to me.
It's so cool. And it's not something to be afraid of, because it can be quite intense, like you were mentioning, and that can be overwhelming to people. And So I think it's just important to have that courage to roll with it and allow it to transform and allow it to illuminate what's dark within yourself or around you. That's what's happening all around us. Like truths are being exposed, secrets, hidden knowledge. It's all being exposed because the light illuminates the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just allowing that process to take place if you're going through it. Because in Chinese zodiac, it's based on animals and the year and how you kind of resonate with that. So everybody's going to resonate a little bit differently. But if you're somebody who's really sensitive to that, just know that, just be kind and gentle with yourself and know that transformation doesn't have to be debilitating and detrimental and keep you in the abyss, that it indeed can be positive. So I think it's just important to remember that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Being able to give ourselves grace, that's a big one for sure.
Right.
Slow and steady steps, they go a long way. They really do. With your workshop coming up, it's going to incorporate Qigong. For someone who's new to it, how would you describe what Qigong is and how it supports vitality?
Yes. So Qigong is something that's very special to me. It helped to really shift my life, how I relate to the world, and just regulating my nervous system through the breath and through these just small movements and tapping that we use to create a foundational practice, which is helpful to nourish your organs, to create balance in the body, to regulate emotions, to help alleviate stress, to create better flexibility without it being so taxing on the body or intense. It's a very light workout or I guess exercise that anybody can really do. Even you can do it sitting down in a chair. So it's not really intimidating, but it's highly effective in so many great ways. And that's why I am sharing it with the community, because I got to learn from 38 generations of a family system that changed my life. And so in our workshop, we're going to be exploring, I'm going to be teaching you those exact things that I learned that help to really change my life, and that you can do at home and that it's easy to learn. So we'll be doing that on February 22nd at 3:00. And in the workshop, I'll be sharing some of those exact exercises that help to tame the fire. We'll be using the elements of water and earth, as well as some wood in there because wood kind of feeds the fire. And we'll be using an elemental approach, as well as a foundational Qigong approach. So it's great for beginners, people that are just learning the skill of Qigong. And I'm here for it. I'm super excited, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
In the workshop description, you mentioned that you're going to be cultivating inner yang energy. What is yang energy and why is it important during the fire horse year?
So, in traditional Chinese medicine, at the core of, I guess, the foundational core of Chinese medicine, there's the concept of yin and yang. And so yin is the more like feminine aspect of oneself. It can be like cold in temperature. It's more tailored to the water element, and versus yang, which is more heat and fire and movement. And so they're two opposites that connect to each other to create life. They're never if they're separated, we're not, there is no life. So they're mutually exclusive on one another, and in order for them to have harmony, they need to be in balance. Like you can't have too much fire because then you're erratic and restless, and too much is going on in the body to cause like inflammation or what we call heat. Versus the opposite, if you don't have enough fire, you're going to be lethargic and unmotivated, and maybe you feel sensitive to cold. You might develop symptoms in a different way, and so it's important to find balance by igniting some of that fire, especially if we feel more burnt out and unmotivated, which a lot of people feel that way at certain times, and this is a way to sort of spark that inner sense of joy, that inner motivation, that inner light that's always present that sometimes we forget is there.
Mm-hmm. For someone who may not be able to attend the workshop, is there one small practice or intention that they can begin right now to align with this year's energy?
Absolutely. So the one simple thing that I could recommend, and it's one that I learned from one of my teachers in Los Angeles who taught me to inhale courage and exhale fear.
Mm-hmm.
So just by doing that simple practice, like if you find yourself scattered, beating yourself up, emotional, uncentered, unbalanced, you can sit for just, 30 seconds, and you're just going to inhale. And when you inhale, you're going to inhale through the top of the head.
Mm.
We call this point our 100 meaning point, or Bahhui in Chinese medicine. And you're going to visualize a white light coming in through the very top of your head as you inhale down all the way to the belly button, 2 fingers below the belly button. So you're going to inhale courage. And then as you exhale, you're just going to kind of visualize that energy going around the perineum, up the spine, that's the back here, and down through the arms. We're going to let that energy go. So it's almost like a circle around your body. We call it, it's kind of the microcosm of the macrocosm. It's an orbit around the body. So we're just inhaling courage and then exhaling fear all the way down.
Mm.
So really,
Love
really,
that.
really beautiful practice for the fire horse.
Mm-hmm. Is this workshop especially supportive for any group of people, and is it beginner friendly?
Yes. So that's what's great about Qigong specifically is it's good for everybody. It's so the movements are small and gentle. We utilize the breath, and it's just so easy to do for anybody and at any level, from
Mm-hmm.
beginners to the more experienced
Mm-hmm.
Qigong master. So
Mm-hmm. And what I love about Qigong is, with it being such simple movements, anybody at all levels can do it. And it's also highly effective. So it's not like just a beginner practice, it's a very intense practice that can be done at it doesn't matter who you are, anybody can do it, and it's highly effective and just does wonders on our energy system and within our body. I love Qigong as a practice, and you do it very beautifully.
thank you. Thank you so
You're
much.
you're welcome. I saw that there are going to be some tea and refreshments at the end. Can you share a little bit about what the role of tea plays in Chinese medicine and community rituals?
Sure. So as a herbalist and somebody who practices Chinese medicine, we prescribe teas and we drink teas for different ailments and just to help the body and ease the mind. And so at the workshop, we're going to be aligned with nature. So we'll be having some ginger tea, for example, which ginger in the winter is very warming, and energetically, Chinese medicine looks at the energetics of things, being in tune with nature. So, warming sort of foods and teas are so good for our digestion and our overall health and our immune system. So, and just, there's something about having tea with a group of people and community and sharing with each other on these cold winter days is really kind of fun. So we'll be having some, tea and some snacks, and I have little gifts for everybody that joins us as well. So it's going to be
Lovely.
awesome.
Sounds amazing. So, on a personal note, are you setting any intention for yourself for this year of the fire horse?
Yeah. So for me, I really think it's just giving myself more grace, more loving kindness, and continuing to do the inner work that just never ends because, who better to love yourself than you? And so that's my biggest intention is taking care of me and doing things that nourish me. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Love that. Love that. If there's one message that you'd like listeners to carry away with this new year, what would it be?
Ooh. I mean, I think it's looking at yourself honestly, taking personal responsibility, speaking your truth, and having the courage to do that. We live in a world that wants to silence us, and I think speaking up and sharing and living in community that are supportive are important. And I think that's what I would say. So
Beautiful. Dr. Natalie, is there anything else that you'd like to add that we didn't ask already?
yeah. So the indigenous cultures of the past prophesized about these times. And I think it relates to the fire horse energy in that if we look at cultures like the Hopi Indians and their concept of purification and sort of allowing things to burn away till we get to the core, and the rise of the rainbow tribe. And then furthermore, the indigenous cultures of South America and the concept of the eagle and the condor. And so the eagle is about like authoritative, controlling, kind of like taking energy that's in charge, versus the condor representing the heart. And so it's kind of looking at those two components and moving more into the condor energy versus the energy of the eagle. And I just think that's really cool to remember and, reflect on.
How can the community learn more about you and sign up for the workshop?
Yeah. So you can sign up at Beyond Zen's website. It's www.beyondzenstudio.com. And we're not just a yoga studio. We are a full-on integrative wellness studio featuring different modalities. And you can check us out on our website. Talks about all the awesome things that we do at Beyond Zen. But for the workshop, you just go to our website. There's a workshop tab, and you can sign up directly there. And or you can give us a call. I have assistants at the front desk that can help you out. We also have a new AI chat box at Beyond Zen that you could just go to our website and book with our AI chat box, Wendy, who's super cool. And she can help you out too. So we have multiple ways. We make it so easy. You can also just show up the day of and we'll gladly get you in the workshop.
Love that. I will also have the links in our show notes. So if for anybody listening, if you're just like, what was that? If you just go to our show notes, you'll be able to see them and be able to just go from there as well. So I'll have all of that information there about the event and your studio and contact information. Well, thank you, Dr. Natalie, for sharing your wisdom and helping us better understand the vibrant energy of the new year of the fire horse and how we can work with that energy in a grounded and a nourishing way. So as we step into this new lunar year, may we each remember that transformation doesn't have to be forceful. It can be intentional and it can be embodied. If you're feeling called to move, breathe, and awaken your inner yang energy, we invite you to join Dr. Natalie on Sunday, February 22nd from 3 to 4 for Awaken Your Spark Within. It's a beautiful opportunity to welcome in the new year through Qigong, reflection, and shared connection, with tea and community to follow. At Conscious Michiana, our mission is to cultivate mindful experiences that nourish the mind, body, and spirit. And gatherings like this remind us that healing and celebration can exist together. Thank you for tuning in. May this year of the Fire Horse ignite your courage, clarity, and vision, and awaken your spark within. We will see you at the workshop. Until next time.
Bye.